Here in the Pacific Northwest, a favorite activity is to walk along the docks and watch the ships and the tide roll in and out. But did you know that when you walk on the docks, right beneath your feet lies another busy world full of fascination and wonder? Seaweeds are types of algae. Seaweeds reproduce by spores like ferns. Types of seaweed you might see in this film are bulk kelp, which can grow as fast as 10 inches in a day and reaches maturity in 1 year. Sea lettuce, sugar kelp, which can be identified by the two rows of ridges without a midrib in between. Frilly red ribbon seaweed, rainbow leaf seaweed, which is an iridescent red seaweed, and red ruffled seaweed. In the Pacific Northwest, there are around 700 species of seaweeds, microalgae, and seagrasses out of around 11,050 in the world. Eelgrass is a species of seagrass. Seagrasses are the only true plants that can live completely underwater. Eelgrass is the most common seagrass in the Pacific Northwest. Eelgrass is a very important species. It gives young fish and invertebrates places to hide, is food for waterfowl, and is a spawning place for fish such as Pacific herring. Eelgrass beds reduce the force of wave energy and reduce coastal erosion. Eelgrass improves water quality by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Nitrate pollution from runoff is very harmful to eelgrass. The red algae that sometimes grows on eelgrass is called red fringe. Most fish and shellfish species in the Salish Sea depend on eelgrass at some point during their life cycle. Giant plumose anemones can reach 1 meter in height and are said to be the tallest polyps in the world. They have over 200 tentacles. These anemones are usually white, but can also be pink and dark shades of orange. Giant plumose anemones can contract to less than a third of their original size. Some sea anemones have symbiotic relationships with green algae. The anemones protect the algae from predators, and the algae gives the anemones glucose and oxygen. Giant plumose anemones can live to be as old as 100. Cross jellyfish have up to 340 thin tentacles. They catch plankton with their tentacles, and some have been seen folding their bill over to put the food in their mouth. The cross jellyfish's name comes from the 4 canals that come out from its stomach in the shape of a cross. These jellyfish will glow blue-green when disturbed, but cross jellyfish in aquariums that don't eat wild food don't glow. Cross jellyfish may be able to smell their prey, and they can swim fast compared to other jellyfish. Red-eyed medusa have 100 tentacles. They have tiny eyes at the base of their tentacles called ocelli. All ocelli only see light, not images. Red-eyed medusa don't die of old age because they can restart their life cycle, and that is how they get their nickname, immortal jellyfish. All medusa don't have a heart, veins, arteries, blood, gills, or lungs because their skin is so thin that oxygen can pass right through it. Medusa get their sense of direction from a pole-like dangling thing hanging down in their bell that always points down due to gravity. The giant California sea cucumber is the largest species of sea cucumber indigenous to the west coast. They can grow to be a yard in length and 2 inches wide. Giant California sea cucumbers have many rows of spikes running along its body length. These spikes are actually its feet. Sea cucumbers crawl on their feet in search of rotting organic material to eat. They defend themselves by expelling their guts, which later regrow. Sea cucumbers breathe through their butt. Giant California sea cucumbers can live for 12 years. California sea cucumbers are endangered due to overfishing. Orange sea cucumbers are usually bright orange. They have 15 arms that are covered with tentacles and catch plankton. Their main predators are sea stars. They have stripes of retractable tube feet. Stiff-footed sea cucumbers get their name because they can't retract their tube feet. They filter feed with their tentacles. Because many parasites target stiff-footed sea cucumbers, they expel their guts each autumn and they grow back in the spring. Stiff-footed sea cucumbers don't eat in winter. The stalked sea squirt is a subtidal tunicate commonly found on hard surfaces up to 25 meters deep. They prefer places sheltered from strong waves. They get as big as 130 millimeters. Stalked sea squirts can be identified by their long, thin body and their 2 tubes. These tubes are used to filter feed water. All sea squirts defend themselves by squirting if disturbed. Shiny red sea squirts draw water in through one siphon, filter their food out, and expel the water through their other siphon. Sea squirts start out as tadpole-like creatures that swim. When they find a place to attach to, they digest all the body parts they don't need anymore. Red sea squirts often have a small crustacean living inside them, and invertebrates hiding around their base. Dock shrimp are nocturnal and lay down to sleep. They're very curious and love pools. Dock shrimp can swim at approximately 3.81 meters per second. Dock shrimp get up to 5 inches long. They have antennae as long as the rest of their body. Dock shrimp are born as males, but when they get older they turn into females. Decorator crabs are masters of camouflage. They use many different things as camouflage, including anemones, corals, sponges, barnacles, sea urchins, seaweeds, and seagrasses. The crabs use Velcro-like hook tears to keep these things in place. The organisms on the crabs are less likely to be eaten by predators. When decorator crabs molt, their camouflage comes off, so they have to find new things to wear. Calcareous tube worm. This worm builds its own tube out of calcium and attaches one end to rocks or docks. When it comes out of its tube, you can see its fringe of reddish tentacles that it uses to eat. When the worm is threatened, it instantly goes back into its tube. These worms sometimes grow on seaweed, but not on bull kelp, because the carbon monoxide in the bull kelp's air bladder is highly toxic to them. Frosted nudibranchs get up to 18 centimeters long. They are hermaphrodites, which is a combination of male and female. Frosted nudibranchs are translucent and can appear in lots of different colors. White and orange-tipped nudibranchs have bodies that are somewhat see-through. Their bodies are covered with white and orange-tipped spike-shaped outgrowths. When they are about to get caught by a predator, they tuck into a ball so they can roll away in the current. The tide pool sculpin is a type of sculpin that resides in tide pools when the tide recedes. They pick a specific pool and can remember their tide pool and always return to it. Spiny pink scallops can live at depths of up to 150 meters and in a strong current. Spiny pink scallops can jump and swim to get away from predators. They have hundreds of tiny eyes that can only sense light and darkness. They cannot see pictures. Their shells are disguised as sponges. Spiny pink scallops can live for 20 years. Giant rock scallops start their lives being able to swim, but once they grow to larger than 1.8 inches, they attach themselves to something and become sessile. At this stage, stuff starts to grow on them, making them hard to see. They can grow up to 10 inches and live to 20 years old. Purple encrusting sponges are made up of large volcano shapes with pores in the middle. Purple encrusting sponges form mats on docks and rocky intertidal areas. Strongylocentrotus drobachiensis, also called the green sea urchin, is green because of the food it eats. The green sea urchin can survive 1,150 meters deep in the ocean. It makes its home by digging a hole in the rock with its mouth. This is a goose barnacle. Barnacles are crustaceans. There is a small arthropod that lives inside a shell that the barnacle makes. The shell is made up of 6 plates fused together. Barnacles have valves that can close to protect them from predators and from drying out. The head of the arthropod in the barnacle is glued to the rock. They shovel food into their mouth with their feathery legs. Barnacles can breathe oxygen from water and air. This is an acorn barnacle. They are different from goose barnacles because goose barnacles have an orange neck that comes out when they're feeding underwater, and acorn barnacles just have blue feathers. Pacific blue mussels are on rocks and docks everywhere in the Pacific Northwest. They are filter feeders. Mussels have threads on their feet that they use to attach to docks and rocks. Pacific blue mussels defend against carnivorous dog winkles by using their foot threads to stick the snail to a nearby surface. Shield limpets are closely related to snails. They have a foot that can act like a suction cup and clamp to rock to trap moisture when the tide goes out. Limpets leave tracks when they forage at high tide. They have small teeth that they use to scrape algae and seaweed off of rock. Limpets always come back to the same spot after they forage. They eventually make a depression in the rock that they use to get an even better seal. The strong seal makes it hard for predators to pry them off the rock. Mossy chitons have lots of tiny eyes made of calcium carbonate called ocelli. One chiton can have up to 1,000 eyes and grow new ones when they're damaged. The eyes grow on 7 plates made of calcium carbonate. Later the 7th splits in half and the chiton has 8. When disturbed, mossy chitons curl up into a ball. There is an entire underwater world of amazing creatures just below the edge of the dock. Next time you walk along the dock, don't forget to look beneath the surface.